Welcome back. This is part 12 of Kin in Line. So we're continuing to look at pictures that I did, sketches I made. This is quite a detailed drawing, so it would have taken maybe half an hour. And yeah, we're getting to the point where I am sort of mastering shading. This is around 1977, possibly even 1978, my final year. Notice how I redrew the head completely. I had her leaning forward, and then she obviously adjusted, and all that weight you can see resting on the chair. Now I should by rights have followed through a bit with that chair, but anyway, I think it's not a bad drawing. This latest batch of drawings are in no specific order, but all done around about that time, 77, 8. So I lived at Bonza Bay, and here we see a seascape. I think this is a typical Bonza Bay seascape with rocks exposed at low tide and fishermen. I love drawing fishermen with those rods sticking up. It sort of gives a focal point to a drawing like this. Yeah, I mean, maybe the shading still has some way to go, but I think it captures it quite nicely. So these are all on separate pages generally. So again, quite a nice collection here of studies of the female model. Less nice focus on the hands here, so that's important. It has to really, I mean, and the hands are drawn with a lot of sort of freedom, just let the pen follow the form and don't look at the page too much. Then I also ventured out into pastels, and I quite like the effect of the pastel, although for me line is the most expressive thing, and it can get a little bit lost using pastels. But generally still these are showing that I'm ready to leave art school and just go out and do my own thing. As I mentioned, chess became an obsession during my, not that I was a great player, but I liked the idea of using my own design for chess pieces and placing them on a board, and they would interact, the shapes would interact to create a sort of ongoing moving sculpture. So depending on what pieces are placed where, the sculpture keeps changing. Here I've just done a sketch of a normal chess set. I don't even recall doing this, but yeah, we played a lot of chess, usually over a few beers, so the standard maybe wasn't that good. This one I would have exhibited, so clearly Mr. Lugg thought the standard was good enough. It's at this point where I really do think I've conquered the art of drawing by and large. You still get a bit of cross-hatching down there, which is jarring. But the cushions are nicely seen. That arm is quite nice, I think. Upper torso is cool. And I think I might again have redrawn the head several times and not, you don't rub it out. That just becomes part of the process. So this young girl, one of our classmates, would have posed, and I did quite a detailed sketch of her there, and then I sort of did a quick one of her, which I like to do once you're sort of free of the burden of actually creating the eye is quite nice there. It's quite fun to just do that and see what comes out. I do know there's another picture lurking here, a couple more. It's to get to them. Yeah, now I remember his name, Kuhn Miles. So Kuhn became the cartoonist on the Daily Dispatch, I would say around 2010 or so. I don't know what he did before that. And again with him I sort of then just did a quick one. Not necessarily very effective, but I think I was probably influenced by Lug's quick drawings and thinking, oh, I can do the same. We won't worry with that, or maybe we should. It's just another life drawing. Yeah, and again, the head moves, so you move with it. Yeah. So at the moment, sorry, and here, so I've forgotten all about this one. I even signed it. It's probably the first time I've signed a work. So it says here, C.K. Bentley, 1977. And I think this was one of the employees at the technical college who would have posed for us, generally. But in this case, he had his clothes on. It was probably middle of winter. And I think I've captured the dignity of the man quite nicely here. This is what I meant when I said in an earlier video that I was able, if given the time, to do a comprehensive sort of drawing, which people tend to relate to more than the quick sketch. Glad I've retained this one. I'd forgotten all about it. And then it was object drawing time again. And so paintbrush, some sort of, just assembled gloves, plastic gloves. Subject matter is certainly not appealing. But again, here it was the process of drawing three-dimensional, trying to create three-dimensional form using a pencil. Can we see the label there? Almost. I'm going to put a page down because this is another one done on very thin paper. So quite a beautiful drawing, I think. So here is an African young maiden, as they would say, who, you're talking beauty here. I don't care what race a person is, but she's actually just a beautiful woman. And I've really understated, I've used the minimum of lines, kind of almost to create that sense of, I guess, the sort of the sort of beauty that one associates with a young woman. And I'm pretty chuffed with this drawing, I must say. Again, another long academic sort of drawing. Here you can see quite nicely the setup that Lug had. with this sort of stage, and you could rotate the top. It's on little coasters. So he had all the paraphernalia he needed to set up these poses. So Jack Lugg was our lecturer and head of the art school, and a master draftsman and painter, sculptor, you name it. That face really, I think, works beautifully. So I've got all sorts of little books of drawings that I'd forgotten all about. I don't know if I can turn this camera on its side, so I'm not going to try because it sometimes ends up staying on its side. But here's a landscape somewhere in this East London area. One of our numerous outings. It's just not focusing as usual. More people sketched, and again, the quality is far better. Compare this to what I was doing 2 years previously. Look at that face. It's really expressive. I mean, this bugger is... I doubt he enjoyed posing, and he did it for money. But yeah, I mean, I'm sort of really am playing now with line quite a lot better than in the past. If only this thing would focus. Eventually. So this is where my comparisons to Topolsky's work sort of do apply. There's no attempt here to be absolutely accurate, but look at the character of that face in particular. I get a bit lost on the ear there, but the eyes are just suggested, the nose is kind of there. So with a few lines, you can capture the character without having to labor the point. You know, here, I must say, though, I focused on that face, and I think it works well. This was a quick sketch and another very complex pose from Jack Lugg. You know, I really admire the way and it's one of my weaker drawings in this book. Yeah, so let's just put some paper under here. Again, it's a woman sort of in a difficult pose. Moving. I don't know if she was told to move or what happened here, but certainly that head would have moved. So it's almost a two-headed person. Yeah, I see we've reached the almost 14-minute mark, so I'm going to leave it at that for this one, and we'll come back next time. Thanks. Cheers.